Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're cutting straight to something I think we all feel, that big gap between what we see online, especially social media, and the, let's be honest, often slow and messy reality of making real, lasting changes in our lives. We got some great sources here, all digging into commitment, consistency, the hard stuff. And our mission today is really to pull out a practical way for you to think about this. We want to help you move from just wanting something to actually committing to a process that works. And the hook is right there, isn't it? We're always comparing ourselves, those perfect gym selfies, people's perfectly curated Insta feeds. It's relentless.
It really is. It's that comparison trap. You see someone else's highlight reel, their absolute best bits, right? And you stack your own kind of work in progress middle against it. And that feeling of disappointment, that why aren't I moving that fast feeling, It's completely understandable. But it comes directly from what we're calling the social media distortion field.
The distortion field. I like that.
Yeah, okay. So let's unpack that distortion a bit and figure out how you can ground your own efforts back in, the real world.
Let's do it, because the sources are pretty clear. Social media has seriously distorted our view of what is real, attainable, and possible for ourselves. And here's the tricky part. We know intellectually, right? We know lots of those images are filtered, posed, cherry-picked.
Yeah.
But emotionally, we still crave that fast transformation we seem to see.
Exactly. You see it and your brain just jumps to, I want to look like that, live like that, transform like that.
And I want it fast.
Yes. And that desire for speed, that's probably the most damaging part of this whole distortion field. Online, things are instant, click, buy, see. So we start expecting that offline too. But here's the reality check, the crucial one. The digital timeline just doesn't apply to your actual body. It's organic.
It's biology, not an app update.
Precisely.
Yeah.
If your goal is real physical change, dropping visible amounts of fat, putting on significant muscle, that stuff takes time, way longer than a few weeks. And that's not about lacking motivation. It's just physics, biology. Your cells need consistent input over months, maybe even years, to really adapt significantly.
That's such a key distinction, biological reality versus online fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings up a big question then. If we know looking at others is maybe just fleeting inspiration, how do we pivot? How do we get into actual persistent action that, sticks?
Right. You have to shift from that external spark, the inspiration, to internal drive. Inspiration gets you started, maybe, but consistency is what keeps you going. It's the engine, and that engine needs fuel. The sources are pretty straightforward about what's required for real sustainable success.
Yeah, they lay out three key things. Simple to list, but they demand a real shift in how you approach things. Consistency, discipline, and finding a realistic balance. Now, those external things, like that influencer you follow, they can be useful as a source of inspiration to keep you motivated, but that's kind of where their job ends.
Exactly right. You use them maybe to remind yourself what's possible, but not to copy their exact path or timeline. The absolute critical step here is ensuring the targets you set are yours, not theirs. Because if you're chasing someone else's look or their numbers or their 6-week transformation, you're probably setting yourself up to fail. You don't have their life, their genetics, their starting point, any of that.
So it's a major mindset shift then.
Yeah.
Take that initial spark, maybe, but then validate your own goal, something personal to you, and then turn inward.
Totally. The sources insist, once that goal is yours, the focus has to pivot away from outside influences and onto yourself. Completely. You have to fall in love with the process, or at least commit to it. Because real change is gradual. It demands that relentless, often boring, day in, day out commitment.
Which is the total opposite of a viral before and after post, isn't it?
Exactly. It's the daily grain nobody posts about.
Okay, so that brings us to the practical side. We get the mindset shift. But how do we actually build this commitment and consistency into our lives? We need more than just an attitude. We need a system. And this is where I think it gets really interesting. The sources actually provide a pretty detailed framework, almost like a how-to guide.
Yeah, this is the nuts and bolts, moving from just wanting it to actually doing it. And it starts, maybe unsurprisingly, with getting really clear on what it even is. Defining your target.
Okay, and what's the common mistake here? People just say, I want to get fit, or I want to lose weight.
Right, which is way too vague. So, step 1 is set specific goals. They have to be defined precisely. And the sources really hammer home that classic advice for a reason. Make them specific, measurable, achievable. If it's vague, you don't know when you've arrived. If you can't measure it like, I'll run 1 extra mile by next month, You can't track if you're actually getting there.
Okay, I can see that. But then there's the overwhelm factor, right? If I set a big specific goal, like run a marathon, it just feels huge. How does the framework handle that?
Good point. That leads straight into step 2. Create a plan. That massive goal is daunting, so you absolutely must break it down, break it into smaller, manageable steps. A marathon isn't one goal, it's finishing week 1 of training. Then week 2, hitting that first 10-mile run. You need a detailed plan outlining how you'll hit each tiny step. Treat each one like a mini victory. Builds momentum.
Okay, plan makes sense. But sticking to the plan, that's the real challenge, isn't it? Especially when the initial excitement fades after a couple of weeks. How do we keep the staying power?
That's step 3. Stay committed. And this is about the why. You have to regularly, consciously remind yourself why this goal matters to you personally. How does it connect to your deeper values and aspirations? That why is your fuel when things get tough or boring. If hitting the gym doesn't link back to something meaningful for you, maybe it's longevity, maybe it's energy for your kids, you probably won't stick with it long term.
Got it. Connected to core values.
Then comes the mechanics, the actual doing. Step 4, establish routines. You need to build habits that directly support the goals. Weave them into your daily life so they become almost automatic. The sources say it plainly. Consistency is key. Because those small actions repeated over and over, they compound, like earning interest in a savings account.
Oh, I like that analogy. Consistency is compound interest. You might not see huge gains day to day, but over months. Wow. Okay, but to know if that interest is actually building up, you need to check the balance right, which sounds like step 5, track progress.
Exactly. Tracking isn't just for patting yourself on the back, though that's nice too. It's vital data collection. You need to know what you're doing, what's working, what's not, so you can make necessary adjustments to your plan along the way. Maybe the scale isn't moving, but hey, your energy levels are way up, or you're lifting heavier. Knowing that protects you from getting discouraged just because one metric isn't perfect. Data defends against emotion.
Data defends against emotion. Good one.
And the final piece of this structure, step 6, stay accountable. Tell someone you trust what you're doing, a friend, family member, maybe even get a coach or mentor, someone who can hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Just knowing someone else knows your goal and might ask about it. That external check-in can sometimes be the difference between having a bad day and quitting altogether.
That framework seems really solid for the ideal path. But let's be real. Life throws curveballs. People slip up. Plans fall apart. What do the sources say about dealing with the inevitable obstacles, the messiness? Well, the first thing is about mindset again. Overcome setbacks. The philosophy is really important here. Setbacks are viewed as a natural part of any journey. They're expected, not failures. So the strategy isn't don't ever fail, it's don't give up when you fail. It's about learning from it. Learn from your mistakes and use them as opportunities for growth. Missed a workout? Okay, figure out why, adjust, and get back to it tomorrow. Don't chuck the whole plan.
Treat it like data, right? Not a moral failing.
Exactly. And linked to that is seek support. Don't try to tough it out alone if you're struggling. Ask for encouragement, guidance. Talk to friends, family, or professionals. It's not weakness, it's smart strategy.
And that naturally leads to the third point on handling obstacles. Adapt and evolve. Life changes constantly. Your circumstances shift. A super rigid plan is brittle. It'll break. You need flexibility. A willingness to adapt your goals and plans as necessary. Maybe that goal of running 5 times a week isn't feasible with a new job. Okay, adapt. Could it be 3 strength sessions instead? The commitment stays, but the method might need to evolve.
That adaptability piece feels crucial for long-term sustainability. Okay, so stepping back, looking at the big picture, what's the core promise here? If someone really embraces this committed, consistent approach, what can they expect?
The core message is, yes, change is hard. Yes, you'll hit bumps. But if you stay committed and consistent in your efforts, that engine we talked about, it starts working for you. Over time, you will see meaningful improvements in your life. And the sources are really clear on this. There's a direct link. The more you put in, the more you get out. Think of it like an investment. The dividends are pretty much guaranteed as long as you don't panic and cash out early.
So the final instruction, the mindset shift we need to leave with is stop obsessing about how long it's going to take. Stop staring at that finish line way off in the distance. Instead, laser focus on being consistent every day. That's the part you actually control, today's effort.
Yeah, nail today, then nail tomorrow.
And this reframes the payoff too, doesn't it? It's not just about the end goal. Every single action matters. Every workout, every healthy meal, each one is a small deposit, getting you closer. And crucially, acknowledge those deposits. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small they may seem, recognizing that progress, even tiny progress, is what can boost your motivation and keep that positive cycle going.
No, if we boil it all down, trust the process. And remember, this isn't just about the gym or diet, is it? This blueprint works for almost any big, worthwhile thing you want to achieve in life. Stop measuring your messy middle against someone else's polished highlight reel. Define your goals. Embrace the slow burn of real progress and just focus on putting in the work today. That investment in yourself, through consistent, committed action, that's the real win.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I mean, taking back control of your own timeline, your own definition of success. The sources suggest the best feeling won't be hitting some arbitrary number you saw online. It'll be looking back, maybe months or years from now, and feeling genuinely proud. Proud that you showed up, proud that you did the work, proud that you invested and keep investing on yourself. That's the kind of success that lasts.